If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call.
Hello and welcome back to the show. This is another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. Today is Friday, March 25th, 2022, and since it is Friday, we are going to do an audience feedback show. And earlier this week, for those of you who may have missed it, to mix things up a little bit, we are going to structure the show a little bit and have a Motivational Monday where we choose from one of the 3 devotionals that we've consistently pulled content from in the past. Tuesday, we will have a Trending Twitter Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be a bit of a wild card show where it's just going to be a show of choice by me. Thursday, we will have an Old Farmer's Almanac update. And Friday, we will close out the week with something from you, the audience. And I'm pretty confident that this will help provide some further balance and diversity to the show. And with that said, today's episode comes to us and is inspired by Edward Norton from the audience, aka the Holistic Chicken, who joins us from New Jersey, originally from across the pond over in Britain. And he joined the show via Permies.com, which is a permaculture and homesteading community with forums, videos, podcasts, articles, and other resources. And if you are into that kind of thing, then you're in the right place here. But Permies is an even better resource. And when I say better, I mean comprehensive, in-depth, with a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of people who have troves of knowledge. It is a fantastic community, and one type of social media per se in terms of the forum that I have never been opposed to. They do a great job, but more on that later. I would just encourage you to check out Permies.com. So for some context, I will go ahead and share his introductory message, and I hope that's okay, Edward. There's nothing supremely personal here, but it does provide some, the subsequent dialogue as well provides some content or some fodder for discussion today. And the title of today's show is going to be about, well, the title of today's show rather is going to be the Permaculture Chicken. But initially we began talking about consistency, self-sabotage, and the comparison trap. And that is, in a nutshell, what we're going to be talking about today, but looking at that rather through the permaculture lens. So I'll go ahead and read his first message, refresh my memory on what we were talking about there, and then we'll continue the drive to work. So let's get into it with today's show titled The Permaculture Chicken, and I hope you enjoy. Links to everything discussed will be in the show notes. So let's just get into Edward's intro message. And he wrote, "Hello, I've been listening to the podcast on and off for a while. I've suffered from perfectionism in the past when I was trying to become a pro photographer. It was paralyzing. I had one day when I went out with my camera and took 5 pictures, which blew me away. They went straight in my portfolio. I was on a total high. Then I failed to repeat. The more I tried to reach that perfection, the more I felt I was failing. Eventually I self-sabotaged, and the only camera I've used this year is on my phone. Rob talks about consistency. I see consistency as just as bad as seeking perfection. I couldn't maintain consistency. Consistency doesn't have room for change. Having consistent views doesn't give you the ability to change your mind. Maybe I'm taking it out of context. Anyway, I have a habit of diving straight in, so there's my 2 cents. By the way, I came here from Permies.com, and then he provides some additional personal details. So the rest of the dialogue was interesting because when I was talking about being consistent, it wasn't being overly rigid in my thoughts or my ideologies to the point where they can't change, because I believe consistency does allow for the room for change. Consistency in my mind means showing up every day in order to achieve a goal or objective. And in order to reach those goals, those objectives in a timely manner, one must be consistent with the approach that one takes. The rest of the dialogue continued with talking about the self-sabotage and the whole comparison trap. And it's tough because while I've got the dialogue here, I can't really read it while I'm driving. But a lot of it was talk on comparison, balance, and how he shared some thoughts about how he was inspired, the name that is, the holistic chicken, by an image of the permaculture chicken. And for those who don't know or who have never seen the chicken, the permaculture chicken, it is from the Permaculture Research Institute, I believe. Again, links in the show notes. But it shows all of the various facets, products that a chicken can produce and the behaviors that a chicken can engage in, right? So a chicken just isn't simply meat and eggs, as we would think of a chicken in the grocery store. No. A chicken flies, a chicken fights. Chickens come in different breeds, colors, which allow them to tolerate different climates in different ways. They have breed-specific behaviors. Their needs are air, water, shelter, food, grit, dust. The products they produce, besides eggs and meat, feathers, manure, methane, carbon dioxide, the activities of scratching, foraging, flying, and fighting. The intrinsic characteristics that I already referred to were the breed, color, climate tolerance, and breed-specific behaviors. Now, there's a whole lot that goes into a chicken. And just looking at a chicken in that way, Edward said that the image blew his mind. And that was the point where we started talking about the comparison trap. And it may have had something to do with, living somewhere and not being able to do some of the things we want to do. And I get that. It seems like yesterday when I was living in the northern San Diego suburbs where the houses were 6 feet apart from one another, and the extent of my preps at that time included a few cases of water and a backpack of miscellaneous shit in the back of my old Subaru. I mean, we do what we can when we can. And I think that the idea of, comparison and the whole keeping up with the Joneses, even if the Joneses is just some guy that you encounter online, whose content you consume, whether it's in blogs or podcasts or videos or whatever, and you see him doing that. You see him doing it with his family. You want to do that too, but everything you try just sucks. And that was a big part of the reason why I failed with my own business ventures when I started with them years ago. I was trying to do everything the way everyone else had done it without understanding why I wanted to do the things that I was doing. And so I lacked purpose. And subsequently I went into debt. And this whole process of finding balance and putting an end to the comparison trap really began with Financial Peace University, getting out of debt, and then having that serve as a springboard to the 48 Days Eagles community and my involvement with that group and learning everything from there. And so that was, that's actually something that I had mentioned or thought of last night that I meant to jot down, was the springboard effect. And I'm glad that we decided to do this audience feedback show, because it generated some thoughts that came up last night. Good thoughts that came from the end and the conclusion of Financial Peace University, the final class, where we talked about outrageous giving and how once we reach our goals, we can then give back. And guys, that's what this is all about, That everything's serving as a springboard to something else. Financial Peace served as a springboard to 48 days. 48 days served as a springboard to the 2022 goal-setting workbook. And as I worked through the workbook, I realized that to find balance in life that I was lacking before, it all started with my financial goals, which led to my physical goals, which led to my personal development goals, which are leading to my family goals, my spiritual goals, my social goals, and my career goals. Yes, there's a lot of overlap there, but from the finance, or at least the financial aspect in life, making progress there and achieving financial peace, largely when I began implementing giving and charity into my budget. That's when it all began, and that's how it served as a springboard to the rest of what I'm working on, finding balance in life. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Links to the 2022 Goal Setting Workbook, 48 Days Eagles community, and everything else that I talked about will be in the show notes. Please check it out. Spread the word if you like what you hear on social media. Join us over in the Telegram group at t.me/allaroundgrowth. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
And I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love. And truth is always the best way to the If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. You know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love. Truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. You're an